Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to part 3 of this month's episode of Gunpla News. We already covered the news and all of the new announcements, so if you want to see those parts, go back and check those out. In this part, we're going to be covering all the updates for the stuff that we already know is coming out, and the next part, we're going to be talking about some resin and third-party stuff, and then finally, we're going to be talking about some featured artists for this month. So if you want to watch all the parts together, back to back, you can watch them all as a playlist, or if you only want to see some certain parts, you can watch them separately. So let's get into it because there's a lot of updates, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out, of course, so we need to talk about all of that. Getting started is the Metal Robot Damashi Series 2 Unicorn Gundam. Now this is something that for a couple months now, all we've had is just this same picture, so I'm actually kind of tired of talking about it. So if you guys don't mind, this is something that I'm going to omit from future episodes of Gunpla News until we get some news about it, because I'm just tired of talking about it, as well as a couple other things on here as well. I'll say this will be the last time I'm going to mention it until we actually get some news about it. So just anyway, the next Metal Robot Damashi series figure is coming. It's the Unicorn. No information otherwise about that at all, so that's that. Next is the Mega House Cosmo Fleet Special Gundam Reconquista NG Megafauna. Anyways, the Megafauna is the ship from Reconquista NG. We're getting in the Mega House Cosmo Fleet series. Coming out in summer. I haven't seen a specific release date for that yet, other than just summer, for 4,500 yen. It's pretty cool, and the initial batch will come with a Minovsky fin effect parts for that, so that looks really interesting. So if it's something that you want, I would definitely try to pre-order that as soon as possible so you can make sure you get that. The other cool thing that it's coming with is that it comes with some really tiny figures for the G-Self, the G-Arcane, the Montero, and 3 Grimoire, so that'll be pretty cool. That'll definitely really put your hand painting to the test because those look super, super tiny. Next is the Robot Damashi XK Signature Penelope Gundam, out in August for 23,700 yen. Very, very expensive. But just in case that was not expensive enough for you, there is the Marking Plus version. It's going to be a special version that has some kind of hexagon camo printed on there as well. If you wanted to get that, that's going to cost you 28,000 yen, so pretty expensive. Then next we have the Robot Spirits XK Signature Kasi Gundam Missile Pod Equipment. Now this is something, again, I'm tired of talking about because we don't have any news for it. At least this month, with the information of the Penelope Gundam we saw there in the corner, there's a little bit about the missile pod equipment, but still no price or release date, so at least they're just showing it like, hey, this is still coming, but we're still not going to tell you any sort of price or release date for that yet, so whatever. Anyway, this is something, again, I'm not going to mention this again until we actually get some more news about it. So anyway, just for anyone interested, just know that that is coming someday. Next is the Robot Spirits Freedom Gundam, out in August for 5,900 yen. Looks like a really nice figure. Going to be interesting to see how this compares to the Revive Freedom Gundam, just in terms of its articulation and what it can do, because this one looks very nicely articulated and looks like it's going to have some really nice posing. The HG kit will have to be pretty nice to compare to that, so we'll just have to see. Then next is the Robot Spirits Justice Gundam to go along with the Freedom. That's going to be out 1 month later in September for 6,000 yen. And again, looks very similar, great articulation. Of course, the backpack can come off and be used separately, but anyway, that looks very nice as well, and really nice colors are there on that too. The colors look really nice. Next is the Robot Damashi Hyakushiki, out in June, very soon, for 7,000 yen, and yeah, with the list price being about the same as the Master Grade, you kind of have to wonder which one people are going to go for. I'm going to be getting the Master Grade. I'm really excited about that. So definitely a big thank you to my sponsor, Mind Phoenix Hobby Store. They're sending me that kit to review for you guys, so I'm really looking forward to that. That review will be coming soon. Anyway, the Hyakushiki will be out in June. The Robot Damashi version should be out very soon. Next, moving into Next Edge, we have the Next Edge style Wing Gundam Zero EW out in June as well, very soon, for 2,500 yen, the same price as the RG. So again, just depends if you want an SD kind of style, D style kind of figure, you can go for the Next Edge. If you want like an actual kit form, you can go for the RG, right about the same price. Personally, I'd go for the RG, but that's just me. Then there is the Next Edge style 00 Gundam plus O-Riser out 1 month later in July for 3,500 yen. Again, I think that's the same price as the RG, so pretty interesting. Then some Tamashii Webshop exclusive stuff. The first one being the Tamashii Webshop exclusive Robot Spirits Gundam Crossbone X1 Kai full action version out in June for 7,000 yen. So a lot of Crossbone stuff out these days, so that's pretty cool. And sorry guys if you've noticed I'm scratching my nose a lot. It's just summer allergies is why I'm not like doing cocaine over here or something. But my nose is really itchy right now. Otherwise, the Tamashii Webshop exclusive Next Edge Destiny and Strike Freedom Showdown set. Once again, this is not coming with the actual figures of the Destiny and Strike Freedom. It's just the kind of parts to make the Showdown set. This is out very soon in June for 2,000 yen from Tamashii Webshop exclusive. And a couple more Tamashii Webshop exclusives. Number one being the Robot Spirits Gundam Mark II Titans version. I mentioned this before. Out in July for 4,500 yen. I just mentioned that it comes with the markings for 01, 02, or 03. So that's pretty cool about that. And then the last Tamashii Webshop exclusive is the SDX Kasi Musha Dai Shogun out in July for 10,800 yen. Very, very expensive, but looks like a pretty elaborate SD, and it's an exclusive, and it is able to transform. Then we have a couple things coming out from Gundam Converge. We have Gundam Converge Series 19. In the new announcements, I talked about Series 20. That was just announced, but Series 19 is coming out very soon in June for 400 yen each. It's going to include, number one, the G-Self with the Atmospheric Pack, the Guntank Early Type, the V2 Assault Gundam, the TR1 Hazel, and the TR1 Advanced Hazel, and the Hrududu, which can be used with the Hazel, or you can just have it by itself if you want, either one. Those look really, really cool. I really hope I can get my hands on a Converge Hazel and a Hrududu. I would also really love to get my hands on that old Dengeki Hobby set for the Hrududu for the HG Titans, or for the HG Hazel. Someday. Anyway, the next thing from Gundam Converge is the SP06, which is including the Zeta Gundam and the O. That's out in September for 2,200 yen. Those are pretty cool. The Zeta can transform, that's cool. The O has the sub-arms, which can hold the beam sabers, so that's pretty cool. Looks like a really nice set. I'm personally, as I've said before, I'm not really a huge fan of the Zeta Gundam's design, or more so the colors. The design is cool. The colors is something that's not really been all that great for me. That would be something to get and then just repaint the Zeta in some different colors. And I do like the O. But anyway, yeah, that's out in September for 2,200 yen. And then let's move into some p-bandai stuff. There's quite a lot of that coming out. There's the p-bandai Gundam Converge Core 00 Gundam plus O Riser. That's out in August for 2,000 yen. Of course, that's coming with the 00 Gundam and the Riser. And that's just got some new special markings on it. Then there's the p-bandai Gundam Converge Core S Gundam. Again, this is just an alternate color version of the previously released Gundam Converge S Gundam. Out in August for 1,500 yen. Quite expensive for just one Converge figure, even though it's an exclusive. Then we have the p-bandai RG 00 Riser in Trans Am mode. This is a gloss-injected kit. Something that I had said previously, that I don't really like gloss-injected kits, especially the Trans Am mode of the Exia, and this one don't really look all that appealing for me, but I am going to be getting this kit, so I'm definitely looking forward to trying it. I'm going to try to put my preconceived notions about gloss injection aside and just kind of enjoy building it and just kind of see how it looks. I think once I actually have it in my hands and I'm actually able to see it like in person instead of just an image online, I think I'm going to like it quite a bit more when I can actually see it in front of me. So we'll just have to see. Anyway, that's out very soon in June for 3,000 yen. And then next we have some p-bandai effect parts for the Master Grade Sazabi or the RE100 Nightingale. So these are funnel effect parts that you can use with either of those kits. That's out in July for 1800 yen. Those look pretty nice. I think those should be pretty cool for anyone who wants to use those with either their Nightingale or Sazabi. Next from p-bandai is the Master Grade Turn A Gundam Moonlight Butterfly version. Now, speaking of gloss injection, this is just a gloss injected version of the Master Grade kit. All the same colors, no color change, but it's all going to be in this gloss injected colored plastic. Definitely doesn't look all that appealing, but the other thing that's special about this is that it's coming with a special action base 1 that you can use for it, and of course the effect parts for the Moonlight Butterfly wings on it. This version of the Moonlight Butterfly wings does look better than the one we got last year for the HG, although it doesn't really look all that different. And other than that, it's just larger and a little bit more intricate cut out around the effect part. But it's basically just a larger version of the same thing, which was very not all that exciting in HG form, and in Master Grade form, again, not all that exciting. It looks like if you really want a really nice Moonlight Butterfly effect part for your Master Grade or High Grade, probably just gonna have to figure out a way to just make it yourself, because these effect parts from Bandai just don't really look to be cutting it that well. Anyway, if you want to buy that set together, it's going to be in July for 5,900 yen. But if you only want the effect parts, you can buy the effect parts just separately. It's the p-bandai MG Turn A Gundam Moonlight Butterfly effect unit out in July for 1,800 yen, so much cheaper, only like around $15. That will only include just the action base and the effect part. Then that way you can use it on just your normal Turn A Gundam. And one thing I haven't seen is that they haven't shown any promo images of this being able to be used with the Turn X, although the Turn X technically does have a similar effect that it can produce. I have not seen any official images of this being able to be used on the Turn X, although I'm sure you could figure it out with some modding. You could probably do it if you wanted to. But anyway, I'm just glad that they are selling that separately. Then next we have the p-bandai Master Grade Gyaradoga in full frontal custom colors. That's out in July for 5,500 yen. I do like the Gyaradoga and I do like full frontal, but I'm not really excited about this at all just because the colors just don't really look right. I think for a full frontal custom it should be just red, and maybe red and dark red if they're going to have two tones, but they made it in like dark red and pink, which is very much char colors to me. So I don't think that the colors are really right for that. Of course, you know, you can just get it and paint it whatever colors you want, but then you might as well just do that to a normal kit. The one thing that does, in terms of plastic parts that you're getting that are unique for this kit, most notably you're getting a new rifle, which again does not really look all that great in my personal opinion, and then you're just getting new parts for the sleeves on there, so probably getting a total of like maybe maximum 10 new parts for that. Not really all that great for that price of 5,500 yen. It's a little bit expensive, but I don't know. If people are really super fans of full frontal, they could probably get that. Next we have the p-bandai Master Grade Zaku 2 High Mobility Type Gabby Hazard Custom out in June for 5,000 yen. This is something that I would really like to get. I don't think I'm going to get it, but I would really like this just because I really like that color scheme, the brown and black color scheme on that. Of course, that is something that you could just buy the normal version and then just paint it, of course. But the cool thing about that is that it's also coming with the water slide decals for the specific markings for that. So that's pretty cool. Of course, the water slide decals are something that you could get separately as well from someone like Samuel Decal. But just like to have the cool like pre-cut official ones from Bandai is always nice too. But I don't know, with the price of 5,000 yen for that, it's definitely a little bit pricey. And then Bandai is going to re-release two other p-bandai Zakus. There's the p-bandai Master Grade Zaku 2 Johnny Ridden Custom out in June for 400. That's not the high mobility type, that's a standard release. This is just the normal Zaku 2 in Johnny Ridden colors and markings out in June, 4,000 yen. And then they're also re-releasing the p-bandai Master Grade Zaku 2 High Mobility Type Yuma Lightning Custom. That is out in June as well for 4,800 yen. So 3 premium Bandai Master Grade Zakus. And I should also note that those are all Zaku 2.0s, so super nice kits, definitely. The Yuma Lightning Custom is another one that I would really love to have because the color scheme on it is really awesome. That white, black, and blue color scheme looks really great on the Zaku, so that's something that I would definitely really like to make as well someday. Then next, we have the p-bandai 1/100 scale G-Falcon. No news about this. This is something that I was expecting we were going to see something at the Shizuoka Hobby Show, but we haven't seen anything about that. The XX has already been out for over a month now, and still nothing in terms of seeing any sort of image or any concrete details about the G-Falcon yet. So we'll just have to see. By all accounts, what we're expecting is just a remold in some new colors of the old 1/100 scale G-Falcon, and then just including some new waterslide decals as well. But we don't know that totally for sure. That's what we were all expecting, but I saw in Jabman's review, he tried to put that on there and it didn't work, it didn't fit. But then we saw other images of some modelers who had done that, so apparently they did some modding, but I don't know. So between those other people who I saw pictures of and Jabman, who I actually saw a video of him trying to put it on there, I'm gonna probably trust the video that it doesn't fit on there, and they're gonna have to do some redesigning on the old 1/100 scale kit if that's what they want to do to re-release that. We'll just have to see. Next, moving into some 1/144 scale is the p-bandai HGUC Stark Jagan, the Char's Counterattack MSV version. Basically just a Stark Jagan with some different head and then some huge missiles on the side of its already large missile pods on its shoulder. So like a very heavy assault version of the Jagan. That is going to be out in June for 2,400 yen. Very soon. And then also out in a little bit later is the p-bandai HGUC Zissa, the double Zeta version. So this is, from all I can tell, there's nothing new about this at all. It's just a recolor into this bright yellow color from the double Zeta series where we first were introduced to the Zissa, and that's out in July for 2,400 yen. The premium Bandai HGUC Crossbone X1 Kai has just recently been released. I did pre-order that and through my friend in Japan, and I should be getting that a little bit later. But the premium Bandai HGUC Crossbone Gundam X2 Kai is coming out very soon in June for 2,000 yen. So that looks really cool. Fans of Crossbone, and especially the X2, I know a lot of people like that, probably just because it's black. So that definitely looks pretty cool. That will be out soon. Then also coming out in June is the premium Bandai HGRC Mac Knife mass production type. Now I've seen a lot of people saying online that this is the high mobility type, but I believe that is just an error made by Gundam Guy. When Gundam Guy posted the pictures for this, he labeled that post as high mobility type, but as you can see in the promo image from Bandai, it says pretty clearly mass production type. So that's what it is. It's definitely the mass production type of the mech knife, which is out in June for 1,400 yen. And then we also have the Elf Bullock as well. The Elf Bullock will be out the next month in July for 1,800 yen. A little bit surprised that they actually didn't just try to sell this as a set with the two of those together, but they are going to be released separately. For the most part, it's just a color swap into the new color scheme, but they do both include new parts for a new head. So that'll be like maybe 3 or 4 new parts in that kit. I was not a fan of the regular Elf Bullock, so these will both definitely be kits I'm going to pass on, but anyone who are huge fans of Reconquista and G, I'm sure there are some out there, probably mostly them in Japan, but those should be cool for those people. Then next we have some re-release effect parts coming out. Is the p-bandai RG Strike Freedom Full Burst Wings of the Sky unit, effect unit, out in July for 1,900 yen. That is just a re-release. And then we have a premium Bandai RG Destiny Gundam Wing of Light effect unit out in July for 1,600 yen. Again, that's just a re-release, so the same effect part we had before. Those effect parts, by the way, come with a Action Base 2 and the effect part in there, so you do get a base for that, which is kind of nice thing about that. Then, as I just recently talked about, the premium Bandai HG Turn A Gundam Moonlight Butterfly effect part out in July as well for 1,700 yen. Again, that's a re-release of something that was actually released last year. And last thing from Premium Bandai is the p-bandai RG RX-78 2 Gundam clear color version, out in July for 4,500 yen. That is a special limited version for the Art of Gundam exhibit. And yeah, so apparently for the Art of Gundam they just decided to do everything clear color, but I don't really like that all that much. So that's going to be one I'm definitely going to be passing on. So that does it for p-bandai, and it's time to move into some of the standard release stuff now. Actually, before we get into that, there is one thing that is sort of a special release thing. That is the HG 1144 scale Hyper Beam Javelin. That is going to be sold with the Gundam UC Band Desine manga, volume 14. That's going to be out in December for 1,200 yen. So that's like 600 yen is usually the price of the manga, plus 600 yen for the Beam Javelin. And it looks like it is coming with some clear parts for that as well, so that is pretty cool. That's going to be including that. Probably going to be very simple, just like 2 small runners, one for just the clear parts, one for just the maybe 2 or 3 parts for the Beam Javelin itself. But that, it looks pretty cool, and I believe that has actually already been released, but for some reason they're going to be re-releasing it again. I'm guessing because probably the Banshee is going to be using it in that manga, because the promo image they're showing is showing it with the Banshee, so that would be my guess. Then next, moving into high-grade build fighters, we have the HG Lightning Zeta Gundam out in July for 2,200 yen. Definitely looks really cool. Like I said before, I like the rifle on it quite a bit, and I do like a lot of the design. I don't really like the colors, because they basically are sticking with the same colors as just the regular Zeta Gundam, and the colors really aren't really my favorite. But I think with some different colors, that would definitely be a really, really awesome looking kit. So might try to see if I can get that one as well. And then the next one is the HG Build Fighters Dom R35. This one is one that definitely looks really awesome, and I do really like the colors of this, the 2-tone blue, and then just some other grays around there as well, and then even some white accents for like the small claws. It has like the 3 claws on the knees and the elbows. In the first images that we saw, it only showed it on the knees, but it looked like they could do it on the elbows as well. Now we're seeing, yes, definitely the claws on the elbows are articulated as well, so that's pretty cool. The shields are really cool in how they're articulated as well, how they can like fold and they can twist around. On like the top part of the shield is actually some sort of like beam cannon, it looks like. So that's pretty cool. You can move those around for its weapons. The Dom R35 will be out in July as well for 1,800 yen, so cheaper than the Lightning Zeta, so that's pretty cool. And then just the last thing from Build Fighters is the HG Build Custom set. So it's not technically actually from Build Fighters, but it's a HG Build Fighters kind of build custom part set for the giant Gatling gun. Anyway, that's out in June, very soon, for 500 yen. And it's pretty cool. It looks very similar to what we got before in the System Weapons giant Gatling gun, but this one's a little bit different. And I think it's maybe a little bit bigger as well. The cool thing they're showing it in these preview images is that it can be used for either a 1/100 or a 1/144 scale kit. Of course, if you're using it for something 1/144 scale, it's going to be very, very large. If you're using it for 1/100 scale, it's just going to be kind of normal size, maybe even a little bit small compared to maybe something like the RX-05 Gundam that has the giant Gatling gun. I'm not sure how the size is going to compare. Maybe something pretty similar. But this is something that, for 500 yen, that's really cheap, and I think probably a lot of people are going to be using this. We're probably going to be seeing quite a lot of these in a lot of like custom builds coming up the next few months. Then moving on to Reconquista NG, we have the HG Gastima coming out very soon in June for 1,700 yen. I do quite like the look of that, and it is pretty cool. On the back, it's got a piece on the backpack, on the back skirt, that are like some clear pink pieces, it looks like. In one of the images it just looks plain clear, but I think that's just because it's not the finished kit, because in the Japanese I can read that it says clear pink on another image, so I guess you're either going to have a choice between plain clear or clear pink, or it's just going to be just clear pink, I think. Clear pink, I think, because the other effect parts are pink, like the shield for the one side, and then the beam sabers are all clear pink, so you're probably just going to be getting a lot of clear pink effect parts for that, including the back and back skirt. So that's pretty cool. Then next is the HG Reconquista and G Kabakali out in July for 2,000 yen. It's pretty cool just because it's black and we don't see a whole lot of black Gundam kits, but I'm not really a huge fan of the design and definitely not a huge fan of the effect kind of weapons that it has, like those like wire guided like beam saw blade kind of things. They look pretty cheap, but it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's an interesting effect part that we've got the wires and dedicated bases for those, so at least you'll be able to use them effectively, hopefully. But from my experience with the HGRC line, it's probably not going to actually work all that well, but we'll have to see. We had, I think the last time we had like wire guided stuff like that on HG, it would be the Silver Bullet or the Rosen Zulu, so those basically worked pretty well, I think, so that one should be fine too. Next we have the second kit in the Revive line is the RX-782 Gundam Revive version out in June. I believe that's at the end of June maybe, for 1,000 yen. Definitely looks like a nice kit, great proportions, great articulation, and it's going to be very cheap, so that's good. So that's cool. And then with that, Gundam Ace magazine is releasing two different weapons sets for that. The first one being the Beam Javelin set that's out in July, which is actually the September issue of Gundam Ace magazine, but it's released in July for 680 yen. Then the Gundam Hammer will be released with probably the next version. It doesn't say the exact date, but probably August with the October issue, I would imagine. Also for 680 yen. Now, those weapon sets, although one comes with a Beam Javelin and one comes with a Gundam Hammer, they do also come with a lot of other weapons as well, basically to make something that's kind of similar to like a full armor Gundam with like a large cannon and then a large shield and beam cannons for its arm as well. So all of that stuff comes with both sets. It's just one also includes the Beam Javelin, one also includes the Gundam Hammer, so those are pretty cool, 680 yen each. Then we have the first in the Revive line, the HGC Gun Cannon Revive version out. So it should be out very, very soon, just within the next week or two, I believe, of June for 1,200 yen. Looks nice, and here we can see the box art. Definitely looks really, really cool. I'm looking forward to see what the box art is going to be like for the Gundam, because for the Gun Cannon, it definitely looks very nice, so that's pretty cool. Next, the third addition to the Revive series is the HG Freedom Gundam Revive version out in August for 1,800 yen. That looks really nice, and as I mentioned before, it's going to be interesting to see what that one can really do, because from the images so far, we haven't really seen a whole lot of images of that in some really dynamic poses, so it's going to be pretty interesting once we're able to see a little bit more about the articulation of that kit, because that's basically, aside from the updated proportions and details on that, it's going to be cool to see what it's actually able to do. Then for the HG Freedom Gundam Revive, there's going to be a custom kit that's going to be sold with Hobby Japan October issue, so it's going to actually be out in August for 900 yen. It looks very, very unique. I don't really particularly personally like the look of that, but it does have some pretty interesting custom parts that you can add to the HG Freedom Gundam Revive version. So if you want, there is going to be that available. Then from Gundam The Origin, the HG Zaku 2 Black TriStar High Mobility Type, Gundam The Origin version, is going to be out in July for 2,200 yen. This is, of course, the version that is only for Gaia and MASH, so it's including the bazooka, the long rifle, and then a second shield for the left arm as well, if you want to choose whether you want like the standard like spiked shoulder or just a second shield on that arm. Then you can have 4 bazooka ammo packs mounted on 2 on each side, so that's definitely pretty cool, and it's nice that you have the option to choose between those, so that's pretty nice. Then we have a couple of new system weapons coming out. System Weapon 009 will be out in July for 1,300 yen, 1,300 yen. It's basically a bazooka in a similar style to the HG Zaku 2, the Origin type bazooka. Of course, as with all system weapons, you are getting some different option parts for that to make it a little bit customized to your taste. And then System Weapons 010 or 010 in August for 1,300 yen, same price, just 1 month later, is some seed-style weapons. It's a seed-style bazooka and a beam rifle, so something you could use with the upcoming Astray kit. So that's going to be coming out at that same time if you want, so maybe that's why that's coming out in August. Very interesting, because you could use that bazooka and then paint your frame blue to make an RG blue frame if you wanted. Not a bad idea. But that's that. And moving on to the RE, the DJ, coming out in June so pretty soon, for 3,500 yen, pretty much the standard price. Looks like they're going for, they did for the Mark III, the GPO 4G, and then for this one as well. It's not bad. I just started building the GP04 the other day, and I'm like about halfway done with it. It's definitely a really, really awesome build so far, so I'm really liking just my limited experience with the RE line so far. But the DJ I'm still just not quite sure about. I would like to try it if I can, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to anytime soon, though we'll have to see. And we are seeing the box art for it. The box art for it definitely really looks nice, and as I mentioned in the Shizuoka reactions video, I do like that they're kind of promoting this together with the Hyakushiki 2.0, although there's going to be quite a large difference in terms of their engineering. Of course, the Hyakushiki is a 2.0 and is a master grade, has a full inner frame and all of that. The RE is basically like a large HG with much more details. So, but together they do look very, very nice, so it's cool that they're advertising them together, and I like the promo images that they've done for that so far. So that's pretty cool. And then the last one is finally the Master Grade Gundam Finiche Renashida, out in June as well, so very soon, for 4,800 yen. That is another one that I'm going to be getting to review for you guys, so I'm looking forward to that. It's definitely going to be very cool. That I do really like that. It's got some really great weapon options in terms of its large beam rifle, being able to break up into different parts if you want to use it as a normal beam rifle and a pistol, or a beam rifle and like a pistol with like a beam bayonet, or just a lot of options there. And it's nice that we have the beam effect parts on the shoulders, although as I mentioned before, not really a huge fan of the articulation on those clear parts, because it just kind of ruins the look of the clear beam effect part for me. But it does look like it's going to be a very nice kit, and it is able to transform like all other wing kits, so I guess not all other wing kits, but like the kit which this is based off of, which I believe is going to be just the Master Grade Wing Gundam. But anyway, finally that does it for all of the updates. That was quite a lot of them, and it was quite a lot of new new announcements. So the last two parts of this month's episode of Gunpla News, the third party and resin kits and the feature artist parts, are going to be hopefully a little bit shorter. So that way, if you guys want to watch all of them, it won't be all that long. So anyway, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next part, resin and third party kits. Bye bye.